Alright, so the next Shrek game I'm going to look at is another Shrek 2 game. However, the Shrek 2 game is the one that most people probably know, which is the beat 'em up slash platformer slash mostly just beat 'em up, where you play as 4 people. If you want to see the other Shrek game for the PC, where it's a platform, straight up platformer, check out that review. I just reviewed that game. Now, on consoles, this game is just known as Shrek 2, but on PC it's known as Shrek 2 Team Action for some reason. So the story is still the same as Shrek 2. I can say though that this story for Shrek 2 is much better than the PC Shrek 2 game. It makes a lot more sense and they include literally everything. And story-wise, this version is superior. So the gameplay in this Shrek 2 is basically a beat 'em up with a little platformer. You play as one of 4 characters. You can switch between the 4 players or actually have 4 people, you know. These 4 characters usually have to go A to B, beat the shit out of everything, and along the way do a couple tasks that never really go off a path, but you get other tasks sometimes. The game is very linear, though, for the most part. There are a ton of characters in this game. I'm not gonna say all of them because there are so many. Seriously, like anyone who has appeared in a Shrek game, Shrek movie, is playable in this game, except for like Pinocchio, and that's it. I mean, but even he shows up. Everyone from Shrek to even the Big Bad Wolf is playable. All the levels follow the movie pretty closely, with the exception of 3 that were made up just entirely for the game. The combat is really simple. I mean, it's a straight up button masher, but it's actually pretty fun. It's a lot more fun than the other Shrek 2 game. I mean, 10 years later, I'm still having fun just mashing the punch button and jumping and smashing the ground. The platforming, the very little that's in this game, is pretty decent for the most part. Now, every character is a special move, like Shrek being able to pick up stuff, or Puss in Boots being agile, or the Wolf's Breath. All of the characters will have their use at some point, and are all fun to use. Now, the game is not as straightforward as it seems. To go through the game, you need to get these snapshots, basically the stars from Super Mario 64. There are 7 per level, and 6 of them change per level. In every level there are these like little bean things with eyes, and if you find all of them in a level, you get a snapshot. That's always the 7th one. Now for every level, you get like 3-ish snapshots automatically, but some of it you have to do little side missions, like guarding a goat or saving the mice in the prison level. Like they're equivalent to, I'd say, a side mission, but they're barely off the beaten path at all. Anyway, to get to the next level, you need to get many snapshots. However, just by helping everyone and saying yes to everything you do, you will never need to actually backtrack. Additionally, at the end of every level is a hero time, where you play as a specific character and only that character, and do something, like Fiona singing to get the birds to die, or Little Red fighting a boss. Speaking of bosses, there are quite a few in this game, and they actually all put up a decent fight, except the last few. Especially actually the last few. One level is actually open-ended with a few objectives you can go around and do, and that's pretty cool. This game is actually pretty cool, though. The graphics in this game, I'm not mixed on like the last game. This game actually does look pretty good, except the pictures for the characters. They look just fucking bizarre. Now, the character models all look very good and animate well, and the animations work well with the models, and really nothing looks out of place here. Everything looks about correct and close to the movie. The enemies, even though like all of them are new, easily could fit in the Shrek universe. They all look pretty good. Even the frog lord thing from this one level. But on a serious point, all the models look good, and I have no problems with them, new and old. The frame rate never dropped, no matter how many enemies were on screen, which is always a really good thing. And finally, the textures all look decent. They were just kind of ugly colors put together, but the actual textures did have some thought put into them. The graphics are pretty polished and they're like a good sight to the eye. They aren't garbage. The sound in the game is actually very well also. I don't think the original voices did it, but if they did, then kudos. But if they didn't, then they're pretty close to the actual ones. The voice acting isn't terrible for once in a Shrek game. It's actually pretty decently wrote, and there's some emotion put in the lines. The music is pretty awesome in this game. Like almost all the tracks are in the other Shrek game that I just reviewed, which I did not even mention in that one, the music. But the music's pretty good in this game. It's also pretty nostalgic for me. There's no Smash Mouth, but the music's good on all the levels. And it's some of the most nostalgic music I've ever heard. In fact, this game is incredibly nostalgic for me. I mean, that's probably why I like it so much. I've been playing it since it came out. And easily, this is the best Shrek game I've ever played. I mean, it's far from a licensed piece of crap like Shrek Extra Large, and I mean, this for a movie tie-in, this is actually a really good game. Apparently, Beanox had something to do with this game, and that's probably why it's so good. They made some awesome Spider-Man games in the Madagascar game. But really, when it comes to bad things, there are barely any with this game. I mean, the game, yeah, it's only a couple hours long. And you can add a couple extra hours if you're going 100% it. And there's no real point to it. You get some like bonus levels you'll do in like 5 seconds. I'm not exaggerating. The game, if played for extended hours, I can say actually does get boring because the game can kind of just drag because you literally just mash it. You just punch the shit out of everything. And there's really no variety when it comes to that. And so I suggest a break halfway through if you're trying to do the whole game in a single sitting like I do, where I sit in front of my computer for like 10 hours at a time. Also, the camera at certain times can be questionable. The Shrek 2 Team Action, or on console Shrek 2, is a great game, and if you like Shrek, I definitely say play it. I mean, if you like beat 'em ups, if you like Shrek, if you love Smash Mouth, this isn't yours, but if you like Shrek, check it out. I mean, so I'll see you guys next time where I review a super violent shooter known as Painkiller.